Hello there. What is going on, everyone? We are live. It is Legion Day, the third and final day of Ministravaganza 2023, and we have so much to talk about with even more just around the corner. Folks, it is time for the Legion Road Match Watch Party. Boo 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 boo. Cue the theme music. Just use theater of the mind here. Magical, shiny, starry science fiction effects flying at your screen, reaching out of your screen, embracing you and filling you with joy and excitement as we settle into the discussion. It's a fun day. We had a little bit of Legion news last night, a little more than we expected. So I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. But obviously, we are definitely going to be talking about all of the new stuff. What is going on, chat? It is a fun day. Chat is busting out already. We've got Off Mets, Ivern. Hi, how's it going? Justy, DT, and Jack are all joining us. How are you guys doing today? Let me know down in the chat section. We're going to recap a little bit of yesterday's stuff. We're going to talk about what we hope and maybe expect to see. And also, I want to get some of your wildest wish lists. Plus, we are going to be doing more giveaways. Mini Crab, why don't you tell them what we are giving away?
Yeah, baby.
No, that's not what you're supposed to do, Mini Crab. You're supposed to tell them what we're giving away.
Oh, yeah, baby.
All right. So, we are going to be focusing this giveaway on Legion specific. We did one of these the other day. We're gonna do another one. We've got the Force Push. This is that alternate Force Push with Anakin Skywalker throwing Asajj Ventress across the way, and we'll give this out to one lucky viewer. And we might even have an extra one. If I can find an extra one, I'll toss one up in Discord. But there's a limited supply of those, but those are cool. It's cool to have that. But this is a Spanish language. Empujar con la fuerza. That sounds about right. A Spanish language Force Push, alternate one. So we'll be doing that after the stream. Water says, "Is Armada dead?" No. No, Armada's still doing quite well. Armada's just on a slow update schedule. I mean, they're not making anything new for it, just like they're not making anything new for X-Wing, but they're kind of on this sort of life support as far as new content. But as far as internally, they're still having Worlds support, store championships. They're still supported through organized play. All of these games are. And, we all obviously want more. We want more stuff, but I'm not really talking a whole lot about Armada today, though I'm certainly willing to, do a little bit of it. Basically, we all kind of want a little bit more. When Armada switched over from FFG to AMG, it was at probably the worst possible time. We wanted to get some, the rest of the Clone Wars factions kind of filled out. FFG had plans. We only just started these new factions, and then AMG wasn't in a position to keep working that and to keep developing new content for these factions that were emerging in a game that they had dumped in their lap. So and X-Wing kind of suffers a little bit of the same stuff. At least there's new quick builds coming there. So X-Wing's just getting the cardboard treatment, and that's kind of what Armada's getting through rapid reinforcements. I think Armada players want that type of content to be play tested a little bit more, or a lot more, and would love eventually to have some proper developers brought on to develop a new wave of Star Wars Armada, especially focusing on the Clone Wars and what they would need to kind of catch them up to the fold. That may happen, but I'm not holding my breath. Either way, the game is still super fun to play, and we have tournaments every month, so we're doing well. But if dead for you means there's no new content in development right now, as far as plastic, then that's your definition. But that's not mine. Gosh, you got me off topic with that Armada. I mean, you guys know how to get me going. All right, let's, if you guys are just joining us, we are doing the Star Wars Legion roadmap watch party today. We've got, first off, we had some surprises yesterday, so I want to talk about that. Also, I knew to share the stream out. If we get to 300 viewers, I'll do a bonus giveaway on top of the giveaway we're already doing. So make sure you share that out so we can do even more giveaways and more chances to win. So, yeah, Shore Troopers were kind of showed up yesterday. And, I mean, not Shore Troopers. They kind of have a Shore Trooper face. Range Troopers. Did I say Shore Troopers? We already have Shore Troopers, and they're great. Range Troopers showed up. We weren't really given much information about them. Will Schick painted a couple. They had some different poses, but, I mean, they pretty much looked like this dude right here with the beautiful boots and the beautiful coat. And, yeah, is that Wampa fur? You know? Very, like, it was a big surprise. I don't think we expected, like, a new core-ish type unit. Like, I don't know if they're going to be core or special forces or if they're going to introduce something else. Like, I honestly wouldn't be too surprised if AMG said, no, there's a whole different new style of unit. It's called core and a half, you know, or something like that. That would be, you know, that wouldn't be too far out of left field. But it looks, I mean, to me, they look like a core. They look like a core. It looks like you've got your basic 4 and an extra guy for maybe the personnel and an extra heavy weapon. But then again, it could be a special forces that has 4 and then 2 heavy weapon options. That's possible. Like, you know, I don't know. I don't know. This one looks like he's got like some kind of Z6 or DLT or something like that. You know, I don't know if we're going to get multiple heavy weapon options for every expansion. Some have only one. Your Wookiees initially had only the one with the bowcaster. Now there's more options, but there weren't always, right? So, but then again, your Dark Troopers have 3, but they can take 2, you know, per unit. So it's weird. So it's super exciting. What's going on in the chat? I'm going to get to some of your questions. Peter, what's going on, Peter? Peter says, Range Troopers, very cool, unexpected. Agreed. Waters is talking about Range Troopers. So, yeah, I had heard that he had sort of implied that they weren't core, but I don't think he outright stated it. Maybe he was just trying to mess with you a little bit and keep people guessing. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the game has too many special forces units, especially certain factions, you know, like, I don't know. And it's tough, and it's such a limited position. Now, granted, since they do battle forces all the time, and they just be like, oh, well, now you can do all these special forces and stuff like that. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, and I mean, I guess they were the Empire's elite, right? So maybe that means that they're not core. I don't know. Or maybe they have the option to be core or special forces. Like maybe if they're core, you can only take 2 and you can't add a heavy. And then for special forces, you can take the larger unit or something like that. So yeah, so we don't know. There's a lot we don't know about the Range Troopers. If you guys are just joining in, this was a last night painting stream surprise. And it was pretty cool, well received. Range Troopers are coming for the Empire. We don't have a whole lot of information. We may learn some of that today in the Legion roadmap. It's going to be a pretty exciting day as we get closer to noon Eastern, which will be 9 a.m. Pacific, is when the stream is getting ready to kick off. That is the estimated time. And if you haven't heard already, we are doing a giveaway. We're going to give away a Spanish language force push with Anakin Skywalker pushing Asajj Ventress out very, very far, maybe off a cliff, but I'm sure she'll be okay because she's a resourceful, talented young lady. So we're going to be giving that away after the stream. So stick around, and yeah, that would be a good thing. Also, we had some Wookiee battle forces announced. Well, there was 2 new battle forces. The Separatists got a new battle force announced yesterday, as well as the Republic. The Separatists is these kind of experimental droid units that have a weaker tank, Persuader tank, that has Assault 3, and then also has the Magna Guard coming in as a weaker prototype version that can be used to fulfill core requirements. Very interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I feel like there's a lot of thought put into it, but it just doesn't excite me. What excites me is the Republic's one, which is the Wookiee Battle Force. This one, folks, is beautiful because you can use it to. You can put some clones in it if you want to, but you don't have to, and that's a beautiful thing. If you want to sort of recreate, that Wookiee Battle Force on Kashyyyk with the clones, kind of working with the Wookiees, you can do that. You can have like a limited amount of clones in there. But if you want to run only Wookiees, you can. It does allow the original version of the Wookiees with the noble defenders, or kind of the melee charge ones. It allows those guys to be used to fulfill your core requirements, whereas any of the Wookiee warriors can be used as special forces. So you can and you can have 6 and then 4 special forces. So you can have up to 10 units of Wookiee warriors in there, which is insane. Now, I have 4. I was checking them out today. I was just verifying, making sure I still have them and that they're all safe and sound. And I've been brainstorming Wookiee build ideas. It's tough. It is tough. You can also, they have an updated version of the Radon Nasp. Where's Mini Crab? Mini Crab's around. He was just here. You miss him? We're over 100 viewers, folks. That's awesome. As we get to 300, we're going to do even more giveaways. So stay tuned for that. I actually have to share this out. I haven't even shared the stream yet on my own social medias. So I need to do that. While I'm doing that, let me know what you're hoping to see. Because I think we're going to see previews on all of the different things that we saw at Adepticon that haven't come out yet. I'm especially looking to see how the Bad Batch is going to work in Star Wars Legion. That's going to be really exciting to me, because I also hope to get the Ghost Crew someday in this game, and since both Ghost Crew and Bad Batch are coming out for Shatterpoint, they're probably going to also do the Ghost Crew for Legions. I mean, Sabine's already in the game. Callus is already in the game, although I don't know if you consider him Ghost Crew or not. But yeah, so it's definitely fun times, and there's gonna be some things. There's gonna be some things announced. Now, we're not gonna get too much. That's a big thing. Is we're only getting we're sort of only getting a little bit of a preview, because they have said during the opening ceremonies that they want to be treating Adepticon as their major event. Adepticon is the time where it's the massive reveals, the stuff that's like a year out. Ministravaganza, they're only kind of talking about stuff that's like 4 months out-ish or something like that. So like most of the streams that they've had have just been like painting and like some development talk, like how did we get, like most of the Battle Forces talk was talking about the history of Battle Forces and some of the development and some of the behind the scenes, like what they went through, and I think that can be interesting, but that's not the meat and potatoes and the super hype stuff that people are really interested in. Now, I certainly don't mind listening to that stuff, but I because I'm interested in some of the thought process behind some of these things, because I love these games. But I think for the majority of folks out there, they want the snippets. They want the, like, what are the highlights? Like, I don't have 48 hours worth of streaming time to sit down and watch all of this stuff. So what's the big stuff? And that's I'm going to try and consolidate all of the big stuff early next week and have some videos out, like, here's the Legion stuff, here's the Shatterpoint stuff. Like, what do you need to know? And I think people typically appreciate that sort of stuff. Normally, I would also do that for Armada and X-Wing, but those aren't getting focused on at all. No, they're really not getting talked about. Although Liz did mention Armada, at least in name, during the hangout last night. Not singling it out, but she mentioned all of the games, talking about the worlds, and so it was nice to at least hear the game's name mentioned. Let's see. Let's get to the chat here. I'll get some of your questions. Doug wants to see a preview of the Geonosians today. Yes. Jour de Lou wants to see Clone Commandos. What time does the stream start? Okay, the stream starts in about 8 minutes. So if you guys want to watch directly on AMG's stream, they're on Twitch. You can go check them out if you would like. If you would like to watch along here, I will not be talking over it. I will blah blah blah. See, I'll turn my mic off. You're not going to hear me. But yes, so I'll be I'll be swapping over, kind of similar to something like that, and I'll just swap over and we'll watch the stream together. So you can watch here, and you can watch them both out. But I think one of the advantages of watching here, if you're interested in doing that, or in both places, is if they have technical difficulties, or sometimes, like sure enough, with the opening ceremonies they had no audio. We can. We can kind of verify that, and that's when, like, I'll turn the mic on and be like, that's right, folks, I'm not hearing them either, or something like that. But there have been times where a stream kind of dropped off, and then we can switch back and talk about it a little bit, almost treating it almost like an intermission, and we can chat, and and all of that stuff. So that's it's going to be a fun time. And then once it's over, we're going to go ahead and, like, I'll try to be getting, like, screenshots of some stuff during the preview, and trying to put them together into a little slideshow, and we'll go ahead and we'll talk about. We'll do, like, hot takes in real time. I'll get your hot takes, you get my hot takes. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome in chat, by the way. This is where the party's at, right? That's funny. So is it stuff from Paladin's asking? Is it stuff from Ministravaganza that's 4 months out? If it's interesting, because it means we'll have these units by worlds. Yeah, they like 4 to 6. I think they're not trying to go. They're trying to go through the end of the year into early next year, but they're not trying to go beyond, like, March. I think the idea is they're trying to talk about things that will be released before Worlds. Things that are planned, at least, to be released before Adepticon. They don't want to steal any of the Adepticon thunder, because when Adepticon comes, they want to be able to give previews. Now, maybe it's stuff that will already be announced or known by Adepticon, but not spoiled or whatever. But, like, Adepticon is going to be the time where they talk about, like, a year out, like, a whole year's worth of stuff. So, last day and Legion roadmap, best for last? I think so, sir. I think so. What's going on, Outriders? Hanging out today. Legion Outriders have some awesome content. You should definitely check them out. Let's see. We've got fill those stream drops with more Mini Crab. Yeah, Mini Crab is he might just show up. Oh, there he is. Oh my goodness, what is this guy doing? All right. That's enough of you. That's enough. Get out of here. All right. When is Adepticon? Adepticon is in the spring. Every year it's typically end of March, beginning of April, and it is when that's when basically all miniature games, like, have their big tournaments and lots of cool stuff. Mini Crab cannot be contained. Yes. Hearing hope we get Django announced to go with Geonosians. I feel like that's inevitable. I feel like it's inevitable. And I think Django Fett is a very strong and realistic guess of things to see. I do agree. I think that's going to happen. But yes, I think we'll see. Obviously, we're going to get Geonosian previews. That's been I guess the biggest thing. Also, Inquisitor previews. I expect Inquisitor previews and Bad Batch previews. I'm really interested. I don't know how much they're going to spoil of the Bad Batch, but I am. I'm really interested to see how it's going to work, because they talked a little bit about how, like, the Inquisitors were going to have, like, 2 characters sharing one, operative slot. How's that going to work? Like, if they could elaborate on that a little bit more, or was that just a misinterpretation or something like that? And how's the Bad Batch going to work? Was we going to run them all as a special forces unit, or can we, single them out? Can Hunter run by himself? Can can I interact with the old Echo and the new? Can fully human Echo interact with the Bad Batch? And I'm just curious how the whole thing's going to be. Peter says, "Are you going to Adepticon in 2024?" I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't have tickets and I don't have reservations as of today. So yeah, I don't think so. I don't know. I tried the first day when every year when Adepticon goes on sale, I always try to get a hotel reservation and they're always sold out within like the first 30 seconds. So like I don't know how people go there because I'm not gonna walk 5 miles back and forth to the con each day. I'm too lazy for that. So I don't know. I have no idea. All right. Let's see what's going on. Do you think we'll ever see a Qui-Gon? Well, I don't know. I'd love to see Qui-Gon Jinn. And in the same vein that we got Darth Maul, yes, Qui-Gon Jinn wasn't, a leader in the Clone Wars, but Qui-Gon Jinn, kind of helped start them. He was the first casualty, sort of the Clone Wars. You know what I mean? But yeah, so it's gonna be super exciting. I can't wait. I cannot wait. They should be getting ready to start any moment now, folks. We're about 2 minutes out, and we're gonna have a good time. Let's just give you a quick little example. It's gonna look a little bit like this. There we go. That's kind of how we're gonna be looking. And of course, I will be muting the mic once they get ready to begin. It is a super fun time. But yes, have I thought about including some Purgil into the background? Oh, I have now. Yeah, that's an idea. That's an idea. We'll have to see. Yeah, you see the double criticals. I used to do a podcast called Double Critical, and it got taken down, which was silly because somebody else has a website that says that or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, you don't do anything with it. I don't know. But anyhow, it's still fun. So then I tried to rename it to Double Crit, and they're like, no, you screwed up once. We'll never let you do a podcast again. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, so that's why I don't use Podbean anymore, because they were really, they didn't even tell me. They just erased my podcast and kept billing me for hosting rights, and didn't even tell me that they took it down. I didn't know it was down for like a month afterwards when people were like, hey, why aren't you uploading Double Crit anymore? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, your page is gone. I'm like, I'm still getting billed for it. What do you mean my page is gone? And it was gone. It was crazy. We're at 184 viewers right now. What's going on, folks? We are doing giveaways. Stay tuned till after the stream. We're going to be giving away a Spanish language Force Push alternate art promo for Star Wars Legion. If we hit 300 viewers, we'll do even more giveaways. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be very exciting. The stream should be starting any moment now. As soon as they do, we're going to switch over. It is about to happen. It's about to happen. So very, very cool. But yeah, well, let me know what you guys are hoping to see as far as new stuff. I really hope to see some more Jedi. I want to see my holy grail moment is to get the rest of the Ghost crew. I want to see Kanan and Ezra. The Rebels need some more lightsabers, right? I mean, we got Ahsoka and that's cool, but I want to see Kanan and Ezra. I'd love to see Cal Kestis also. I feel like it's possible. Like a Cal Kestis' ponchos would be really cool to paint in a game like this. That would be super fun. And of course, I want an AT-AT. And Gungans. For crying out loud, Gungans. Maybe Gungans are the Holy Grail. I don't know which one I want more. If it comes down to, Grand Admiral Thrawn. Okay, I see Thrawn in chat. Grand Admiral Thrawn did get announced for Star Wars Shatterpoint, or teased. Like they showed his face. It was basically an announcement. They didn't say his name. I don't think they're allowed to say it, but they were allowed to tease the visual. We're still waiting for the stream to start, so just so you know, we're almost there. We should hear them, and we're not going to miss anything. So it's going to be a fun time. Hopefully, you guys are having a fantastic day. We are almost at 200 viewers. That is awesome. Austin says, "Give me Boss Nass." Oh my goodness.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 3 of Ministravaganza 2023. We're kicking things off with the Legion Roadmap, one that I know a lot of you have been waiting for. I'm not Simone Elliott, who was originally scheduled to be on this panel. She was unable to make it today, so I'm subbing in. So, yeah, I know what's happening here. I'm a little unprepared. Pagani's probably going to lead a lot of this. We're excited to be here with you for day 3, wrapping up this Ministravaganza with a bang. With all that said and done, we're going to be taking a look at some of the stuff that's going to be coming out for Legion early next year. We're going to take a little view into the spring as well, and then we're going to be talking about, semi-spoiler alert, some very far-off things that are very exciting that are happening right now in the studio to give you all kind of a view of where we're going longer term for some exciting developments with that. So let's go ahead and dive right in to the Star Wars Legion number 1.
Geonosians.
So
Geonosians.
Geonosians. So we showed these fine bug people off at Adepticon. We're going to dive a bit more today into their card reveals. We're going to talk about some of the art. We're going to talk about the sculpts.
And they were painted yesterday?
Yes.
2 days
Oh
ago?
yeah, they were.
It's all blurs together.
I was like, these were painted months ago.
Time is not real. It's like
those
amazing.
I get you. Yes, Dallas Kemp did do a hobby hang where he showed several different ways to paint the Geonosians with different carapaces and all that. So if you want to check that out, that happened on day 1. It's all right there. But let's go ahead and Marco, just talk a little bit about these sculpts, about how the challenges involved in bringing in flying bug people to Legion.
This one particularly was tricky because most people associate them from like Clone Wars, the episode 2, and so like a lot of those CG figures were like very high res with lots of texture and all sorts of small like insect details that
Chittering, perhaps?
Yeah, that just do not translate at scale for miniatures because there's just too much noise there. And so while we do have like that reference, we had to also take inspiration, a more stylized approach with the more animated depiction of them, as well as keeping in mind just the thinness of their wings, since they're very insect-like. And so we had to make sure that the pattern reads well and is also not going to snap when you putting it together. So
I will say my favorite part on these is how I think y'all made them look very spindly and bug-like, but as you just said, they're also sturdy. Like I've held them in my hands and been like, oh, this is good. Like this isn't going to snap or break or wiggle or anything on its base. So like I think y'all nailed that.
Thanks, yeah, because we really wanted to have them, like you said, like they're very maneuverable, and so I wanted to make sure that they're not going to break. And also, again, like that style is what really lends itself to that, making sure that you can see what it is that on the table and recognize the Geonosians.
They don't look heavy to me.
No, they look like they could be, flying around, buzzing around.
They look like a good fly swatter will take care of them. And then, of course, I think the amazing art piece is already up of Poggle kind of pronouncing his dictates to the Geonosian troops and warriors. There's a whole slew of fantastic art we're going to see on the cards, both unit cards and some of the upgrade cards we're going to look at. Just wonderful work.
Looks like we just lost audio.
Fun talking about the various like environs that we would find these people in. There's some great droid factory stuff, and then there's also just like the idea of movement and flight with the Geonosians. I think was really fun for them to play with and to come up with these really neat compositions that kind of read well at the different scales of the art. And I think that's one of the things that is always kept in mind. Like the upgrade card art has to be concise and compact because it's a little bit of a smaller window. Then you've got command cards, and you've got the unit cards, which get the bigger pieces that get cut down for everything. So let's go ahead and dive into some of these upgrade cards, because apparently that's next rather than showing the unit card first. But why not? It makes sense.
Look, it's an adventure.
Yeah, we're going on a trail. We're going to show them all the
Save
cool
the best for
upgrades
last
they can
there, yeah.
take, and then we'll show them why those upgrades are cool
Sure.
when we show the art, we show the unit card. So, Durson, you want to walk us through kind of what these 3 upgrades that are on the screen?
So you're going to get 2
Have to
different
offer.
heavy weapon options in this unit. You've got the Sonic Cannon Warrior and the Force Pike Warrior. The Sonic Cannon is kind of your standard heavy weapon that gives a slightly larger dice pool to the unit. It's also got Scatter and Impact 1, so you're going to be able to kind of reposition your opponent's miniatures with that weapon. And then the Force Pike is one of my favorites. It is a card that flips, so there's 2 sides to it. One is a melee weapon that gives suppressive, and the other is actually an overrun weapon. So your Geonosian warriors can make overrun attacks, as they fly through.
That's a secret.
Not anymore.
I do have a question though, which maybe is for Will Schick.
Uh-oh.
If the Force Pike Warrior card
Yes.
adds a Geonosian holding a Force Pike,
Yes.
and the Sonic Cannon Warrior card adds a Geonosian holding a Sonic Cannon,
Yes.
does the Geonosian Warrior card add a Geonosian holding a Geonosian?
Yes.
Yes.
Great, brilliant.
Correct.
But
Okay.
it's a very small one. It's
Very
like
small.
a larvae.
Welcome to Legion.
He just carries it
Okay.
in his little like Geonosian Bjorn. His bug Bjorn.
Look, I just had to ask. Okay.
Yeah, no, it's legit. It's legit. All right, so with that, moving on. Let's take a look at the actual unit and the card. Walk us through some of the design and development process of these guys. I know, as Marco mentioned in the sculpt, one of the challenges was showing these Geonosian like warriors, these bugs, very mobile, very fast. They fly. Getting some of that feeling into that lightness into the sculpts themselves. But then translating that on the tabletop, talking about a unit that we think of as buzzing around the table, being always in flight. How was that approached? What were some of the things you tried? How did those things not work out and lead you to where you were now?
Yeah, so we knew from the very get-go that we wanted the Geonosian warriors to be the third core option for the CIS alongside the B1s and B2s. And we know that we wanted to, because they're kind of one of the first organic options in the faction, we wanted to kind of explore how to make them feel different, right? And them having wings and flying around the battlefield was something that we really wanted to capture and kind of lean in on. So we play tested a variety of things. Like we had them at speed 3 at one point, and that they could just move over terrain. That was too much. So we kind of settled on this approach of, well, let's give them a free jump move as an action, free action to kind of capture that feeling. And then there was issues of, well, they're too good on certain objectives because they can do hostage exchange, and they can also, with recover the supplies, they're a little too strong. So that's when we came up from the weighed down keyword. So they do not get to use jump while they have a claimed objective token on the unit, and that's just kind of a balancing, mitigating factor there.
I mean, it's also like you pick up something heavy.
Yeah, I mean, you're not.
Those little wings aren't going to do it. Look at them.
Yeah.
Marco made him so thin.
Look, what is the airspeed of a laden Geonosian warrior?
Great question.
Right. I guess it depends on what hive they come from, but
The North Hive or the South
North hive or the South hive, yeah. And then this death from above keyword is something that I really like. We with the core rulebook change to climbing and whatnot, we want to see players get more elevation on their tables. And so death from above is a really cool keyword that plays into this kind of unexplored design space of how high are you on the battlefield. Your elevation matters. So if they can get to a spot where they're at higher elevation than the enemy, they deny cover, which is really cool. They just fly up there and they're shooting down on the unsuspecting clones.
I think that does a great job of really showing them like poking out of holes and stuff in their hives and fighting that way, and that really like hit and run.
They can strike from
hiding.
anywhere at any time, kind of feeling. Yeah.
And it encourages players to do things like that. And I always love it when the rules make players play thematically, because that's what's good.
Yeah.
So that's always
We're all about trying to make the unit or whatever the miniature is play like it does in the media.
Yeah, how it's portrayed.
So let's dive into the two characters that are going to be coming out alongside the Geonosians to kind of add more of that organic feel to the CIS armies. Sunfac and Poggle the Lesser. So we have both an operative and a commander. And Marco, talk a little bit about, well, you're going to have to do your best Simone impression and talk about Poggle's little beard thingy.
Oh God, I don't even remember what she called it.
I don't remember what she's in the chat.
proboscis, perhaps.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's how like bugs eat.
Proboscis. But talk about bringing these two in.
Yeah, this one was fun because we do have depictions of Poggle in other media outside of the prequel trilogy. Everyone remembers him from his clicks and noises that he makes iconically and stuff. But it's also was a little bit challenging because he has a lot of little tentacles and all these things hanging to be his beard. And so to make sure that that doesn't become an assembly problem, we had to get a little tricky we have to be a little tricky there in getting the assembly to be smooth as possible while also getting that nice gesture of him stroking his
Stroking the bug beard.
So that was a lot of fun just to be able to highlight some personality in these miniatures, and for this line, especially since they're not like the most expressive creatures, right?
They're quite alien
Yeah.
compared to like a
And then
human
now you
face.
shrink it to that size, like pushing that personality, like that's really the goal there. And I think it reads great, and I think people are going to really have a lot of fun painting that miniature.
And then Sunfac, I know we had a lot of discussion about. There's a couple of different references for Sunfac, and they are radically different between the live
action and the
head sculpt, and then the more like animated video game
Yeah.
stuff. So, talk a little bit about how that decision tree went.
Yeah, honestly, what you want is for those features to be seen on the miniature from afar, right? Like, so honestly, most often than not, stylized art, whether it's like in animation or comics, they accentuate those small little details, kind of like caricature artists. They pick out features of yourself and like kind of exaggerate it. And so we then lean a little more on the animated side to pick out what those features are that make that character. And so in fact, with his scar and his, obviously the Geonosians are known for like their big eyes that like kind of,
Literal
They're
bug
bug
eyes.
eyes.
bug eyes. They bug out.
You can say it; it's okay.
It's racist. No.
Against the Geonosians.
Against the Geonosians. Anyone who will
guess.
future play. No, and so but we still have the live action reference to then help inspire any other sort of things that we want to put into the design to make them stand out.
Talk really briefly, because the chat's mentioned it, about lack of flight stands, and obviously a move away from kind of the plastic sticks
Well-
that have to go in very inappropriate places most of the time on the
Most
miniatures
of
to
the
make them
time.
fly.
Unless you have like the cop out as a jetpack, right? Like you're not gonna be able to plug it in a great place, and so that's honestly where you have to get a little. We've kind of pushed ourselves to be more creative and like we're gonna eliminate the flight stand and make something out of like whether it's like terrain, using the terrain or using like effects like smoke or any like fog or anything, which we used a little with the Geonosians to then elevate them up without having this big clear like piece of plastic that's kind of like
Just always jumps out and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's a game,
especially
not
with the
not a
glare.
scene.
Yeah, well, especially with the glare, like it might bounce off the clear plastic and kind of takes the eye away from all the work you put into your miniature with the paint jobs and everything. So we want to definitely like lend itself to like, okay, you don't need to see a plastic piece of like just sticking out from afar on your miniatures.
All right, so now let's go ahead and take a look at what these two characters do, starting with their stat cards. Dev Boys, walk us through.
Sunfac.
Yeah, so with Sunfac, however you want to say his name, we definitely want to make him kind of capture that fantasy of him being Poggle's right-hand man. Poggle is the one that makes the plans but does not execute the plans. That is Sunfac's job. So we knew we wanted him to be kind of the combat unit in comparison to Poggle's kind of supporty role. So he's got the same keywords as the Geonosians, the jump 1, or the jump 3 rather, death from above. He also has direct Geonosian warriors, so he can hand out and order them. He has retinue for Poggle the Lesser. He has scaled and weighed down, and he is a little bit more proficient in combat than the normal Geonosian. So he can go out there, he can mess some units up pretty effectively, and his command cards, which we'll get to in a second, help the Geonosian warriors out. Poggle, on the other hand, is kind of exploring this space that we talked about yesterday in the Battle Force panel. Something that we were kind of interested in to explore in Legion was making commanders and operatives that are more supporting. They don't necessarily have to be combat pieces. They can just support their army. So we saw that kind of with Logray or C-3PO. And this is another instance of that, of how, Poggle's kind of an old Geonosian. He doesn't really fight. How do we make that interesting, compelling on the
Clicks
tabletop?
the button.
Yeah, he clicks the button, right? He builds the Death Star. Yeah. So how do we make that compelling on the tabletop? So we gave him with Compel. We gave him a suite of support abilities like Compel, Core Separatist Alliance Trooper.
Solid start.
Yeah,
Solid start.
good segue.
Perfect transition.
Entourage for the B2 Super Battle Droids, Override, and he has the same weighed down keyword. And another thing we wanted to do with Poggle was we didn't want to make him just effective with the Geonosians. We wanted to make him a support commander with a little bit different flavor for all of the CIS faction. So that's why he's got the synergy abilities with the B2 battle droids and any core trooper unit.
I think my favorite part of the Poggle card is that he's only jumped 2, where everybody else has jumped 3.
Yes. Well, look, it's hard when you're that old.
That's what I'm saying, right? Like it's just
His
like
wings aren't quite as like fresh, all
Look,
right?
I
They're a
can-
little dried up.
I can relate, Poggle.
They're a little papery.
My wings are a
Like,
little dried up too sometimes.
If you're a human, your knees go at a certain age. If you're a Geonosian, your wings start to go at a certain
Yeah,
age.
so I love that like little flavor that we were able to get in there. That's like, oh, this guy's not as spry as say Sunfac or the other Geonosian warriors, right? He's not there.
But
He's also only speed 1.
where he is there is in his ability to command
Absolutely.
things. So let's jump
Absolutely.
into the command cards. Talk a little bit about what they bring to both the Geonosians in general and CIS armies overall.
Sure, you want to do this? Or okay.
No, go for it.
Sure. So we'll start with not Poggles. I'm sorry. Sun Fox. He has 1 command card, Brutal Enforcer. It's a 1-pip. Sorry, forgive me. This is really small text.
You don't have to read it. Just talk about it.
Just talk about it.
Remember
They
what
can read it.
does.
It's
Yeah.
on the
They can
screen.
read it.
He gets to do the Geonosian Warriors get to jump 3 and get Agile 1 and Demoralized, so it's going to help out your Geonosian Warriors that are around Sun Fac. And then for Poggle's command cards, we really wanted to capture some of the iconic moments in Attack of the Clones, where there's a deleted scene, actually. I don't know if y'all knew this, where there's the kind of trial and execution for our main characters. So it's 1-pip, let the executions begin. He gets to hand out 2 orders, then he gets fire support. So it is Poggle pointing and the droids shooting. We Serve the Queen, it orders a Sun Fac, or it doesn't order Sun Fac, but he loses direct Geonosian Warriors, and they gain Coordinate, so you can kind of emulate that hive mind feel that you normally have with the droids, and the AI keyword with your Geonosian Warriors. And then the final one is kind of my favorite, the 4-pip We Make Weapons, that counts as a 3-pip for your command hand. When you issue a core droid trooper unit in order with this, you get to return some defeated droids to the unit. So it's kind of a send in the next wave feel. Send in the next batch from the factory. So,
And you can see on this, we discussed a little bit about the art before, but you can see the different vignettes that the artist really pulled together. The Droid Factory one, I'm sure marketing will show in its full, is phenomenal. It's just got a great atmosphere to it. Let the Executions Begin, classic, like droids coming forward, shooting all the laser beams. But it's always fun to work on that stuff because Preston and his artists always make the full scene, and then we kind of have to crop in for the cards. But it'll look interesting to see how that goes. So. I have no doubt that you'll be seeing those pieces shown in all their glory throughout the ramp up to these guys releasing early next year.
Got a thumbs up from
Got a
Anna.
thumbs up from Ann. Maybe she'll show them now. Who knows?
could- you
Ann's
could-
a wild card over. Oh, we got the head shake.
Oh,
But you are a wild card. We were discussing that this morning.
you could say it's a pretty Poggles, right?
Oh my goodness. My.
I'll see myself out. Bye, guys. I'm out.
Good day.
Good day, sir. Good day. All right. So, anything else we'd like to say on these fantastic Geonosians?
Before we move on to the next thing, which they haven't seen? Have they
No, they've
seen
seen
They've
it.
seen this
We've
one.
seen it.
Yeah, I'm just really
All the-
excited to see how this new option, this new non-droid option, creates new opportunities for CIS players, and to see what they do with it. Really excited for that.
Perfect. All right, let's look at another one of the releases that's going to be coming out early next year. And these, again, were shown at Adepticon in the preview panel, but we're going to do a deeper dive, show some cards and everything going on here. And that is Fifth Brother and Seventh Sister, the new Inquisitor operatives for the Galactic Empire. Marco,
what's up?
there's something that's...
Thanks for joining us, Marco.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. We'll bring you back. I don't know where you were, but I'm glad you're back.
I was simply responding.
So I think one of the most interesting things to me on this is that we've done something that you haven't seen on lightsabers before, and there's a little swoopy effect.
Oh, yes, we wanted to try out, because especially in this sect of Inquisitors that we've seen, particularly in Rebels, they have the helicopter flying ability, and they spin their lightsabers a lot in battle and fighting, so we wanted to try to emulate that on the miniature a bit and kind of give people a little more motion in these poses, as they often do tend to share certain stances due to the lightsaber they wield. So we wanted to kind of give it a little more, to separate it and differentiate it from the rest, especially as we continue to make more Inquisitors in our game lines. So, yeah.
That was a bold statement. Right? More Inquisitors.
I'm meaning like the Shatterpoint line.
Look, no one expects the Imperial Inquisition. Right?
We've made a decent number of Inquisitors for sure.
As I meant, yes.
These ones for Legion specifically, though, hard inspired by the animation, and certainly come from that kind of moment of the Rebels show.
Yeah.
With all the designs. That fifth brother's huge.
Very
big.
big.
He's real big. I remember in Cam being like, "This is too big," and everyone being like, "I don't think that it is."
It felt right. It's about the feeling of the character.
It's not just that. I mean, just his height in general. He is a big, chunky boy. He barely fits on that base.
But it's intimidating
But
to see
he
on the
does.
table.
He is, yeah, for sure. Do you remember who sculpted these? Go back.
It's been a while, but I'd say it was David Ferreira.
Okay. He did a great job on him. Really captured the characters.
The likenesses of the animation, and really keeping true to that, to the representation from the animated series. So, yeah, great job all around.
All right, let's take a look at what both of these characters do. I think this was one of my. I really liked this design discussion that we had because one of our goals from the outset was to make sure that you could play them together in a way that worked well within the Legion parameters. And one of the challenges with Legion in general, when it comes to characters, is you only have so many choices. And the cost to balance characters against their units usually means that taking a lot of characters really reduces the options and opportunities you have to play a solid game of Legion, I would say.
Well, it
with
drastically
activation
reduces your
counts
activation count. Yeah.
activation count and just everything else. So talk a little bit, not only just about their design in general, and I know, Pagani, you worked very closely on this, and actually, I think the original designs were done by one Michael Plummer.
They were.
Yeah.
So just walk us through kind of the discussion, and then I think Dursum can take us through the changes and how they kind of wound up where they were.
Yeah, the goals for them, right, was to create two characters that work together but don't really like working together, right? So like Fifth Brother has a lot of rules that are very aggressive because he's a very aggressive character. He doesn't, I mean, I'm not super duper familiar with them from these shows, but they're together and they're working together, but they don't want help from each other.
They're very
much how it
like
works,
all
right?
like
So,
all
very
Red
competitive.
Blades. They're very competitive, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
If you don't complete the mission, you're likely to get force choked to death, and if you do complete the mission, you might get a promotion.
Which is
Sure.
even worse.
Like no pay increase,
Which is worse,
but
yes.
you'll get a promotion.
And you'll see this a lot in the command cards where they're like constantly trying to one up each other and they're constantly trying to like do the better thing, which pushes them both to be better and do the thing, which I think is kind of the idea of Sith and the Inquisitors, right? Is like if they're always fighting for doing the thing, if they're always ambitious, they'll always try harder. But Fifth Brother, I think, does a great job of showing this with like Dauntless. Like he's being attacked, he's being suppressed, he doesn't care. And you have Enrage. Once you actually damage him, he gets real big mad and gains charge and becomes fearless, right?
It's Ram.
It's Ram, which I guess is just him like. So we wanted a very aggressive sort of non-flashy saber wielder here that's just going to get in there and
Mess
do his
people
thing.
up. Yeah.
And you'll notice he's relatively inexpensive for a saber character, around 100 points, 105. And the Seventh Sister is much more about interrogating and getting information and doing that kind of thing in the shows. So we did a lot of other stuff with like Disciplined. So
He's the sledgehammer, she's the scalpel.
Absolutely.
You know?
So we have like Disciplined, we have Interrogate, we have that kind of stuff. And then of course you have Associate Fifth Brother, so you can take them both as one operative slot, which you touched on a moment ago, right? She also has Jump, where Fifth Brother doesn't. So she's going to be much more mobile, much more agile, less hit points overall, more courage, right? So like we're getting a lot of that feeling of like one of these is a finesse character that thinks about what they're going to do, and Fifth Brother just runs directly at it.
And if you
right?
want to take both, you can. I think one of the things that we were trying to nail down, as Ashik said, in Legion, if you're with your standard rank requirements, you only have your 2 operative slots. So we wanted a way to players be able to take both of them and not crowd out all of those slots. So it's like, all right, well, that's how the associate keyword came to be, and it's this idea of, all right, well, if you take both together, It's about the same points cost as a Darth Vader, but you get 2, and together they're still not quite to that level. But you have the benefit of having 2 activations instead of 1 activation.
And they can be in 2 places.
And they can be in 2 places at once. They can have 2 attacks, 2 objectives, or whatever.
And yeah, I think when we were making these, right, we were looking at what can we do to make somebody that has a lightsaber still feel like they have a lightsaber, but also only be 100-ish points.
Right.
And because lightsabers are obviously very powerful, they have impact, they have pierce, they have all these great things. They usually roll a ton of dice. So what can we do to do those kind of things? And I think we did a great job coming through here with like what does a lower level lightsaber user do.
And their dice pools are not particularly large. They don't have deflect, which is something that a lot of saber users have.
They do have still immune pierce though.
They do, yeah. They're not completely helpless, but
They don't just fall over.
right. They have block.
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. But I think to me, where these really come in is one, the command cards we're about to show, and then their single upgrade card.
Oh yeah, but that's like future spoilers.
Well, no, it's right here.
I know. It's
Oh,
future.
it's future.
We have a slide and then another
Time
slide. You
is
see,
relative.
Like we gotta go forward. So
The future could be in like 35 seconds.
It could be.
could be. Depends how long it takes to talk about these command cards here.
Will
So
then be now.
so the pack
Soon.
the pack does come with 5 command cards, 3 for Seventh Sister, 2 for Fifth Brother. And walk us through kind of where these go, what they do, how they add to these already impressive characters.
Yeah, so Fifth Brother has 2 command cards, Seventh Sister has 3, although one of hers is kind of a team-up card. So just going through them really quickly, I'll do my best. These are very small. But I think my favorite one is this You Would Not Question Me. It's a 2-pip for Fifth Brother, and it's when this kind of, to me, this card highlights the kind of competitiveness between them. And kind of how they're like egging each other on. And it's a permanent card, so when you play it, it'll stay in effect for the rest of the game. It's when Fifth Brother gains an aim token, Seventh Sister gets a dodge token. And when he gets a dodge, she gets an aim. And then when either gets an aim or dodge, the other gets an immobilize token, or can. And if they do, the first one gets a token of the same kind, right? So one gets a token, the other one gets the opposite kind. They can immobilize the other one to get a second token.
Yeah, so it's them fighting, right?
Yeah, it's them fighting, right? Yeah, and this went through several iterations in playtest to make it balanced and get the wording functionality. But I really like how it ended up because I think it really captures that how we talked about
Competitive spirit.
competitive spirit that is among the dark side Force users. What's another one that I
mean, just talking about the art really quick.
Yeah.
I think one of the interesting things that Preston and the artists did on this is, you have these characters. They're drawn, again, the Legion inspiration very heavily drawn from the Rebels animation. But there's this overlay in the style and the colors of this more sinister nature, right? Like in the Rebels show, they're spooky, but there's still like it's a soft spooky, right? You know that they're bad, but they're not that bad. Here we get more of a horror element to them, where you can really see how frightening it would be to be confronted with these, to see like the evil behind the nature of the Inquisitors and all of this. So I think it's a very cool take and something that was very different to see, but it was fun to see how they ran with that style, the color palettes and everything to pull it together to make it feel like a monster movie almost.
Yeah. Shout out to Preston for getting all that beautiful art.
I think You Hide Your Fear Well to me perfectly. Is like that's the card art that I'm just like,
Yeah.
whoa.
well, she's got Ezra's lightsaber, right?
Yes.
And okay.
Yeah.
That's having it from the point of view of whoever she's interrogating.
It's
super cool.
drawn from that scene in Rebels,
Yeah.
where she's interrogating Ezra as well. So.
On to the next.
Yeah, unless there's anything else we want to cover here.
No, you can go to the next slide.
I think these cards are sweet.
Yeah,
They are
like these
very
cards.
cool.
That's my professional opinion.
There you go, professional opinion.
So,
You scroll down.
but now, Inquisitorious training.
Yeah, so this is a unique upgrade. Well, not unique upgrade, but it is only available on Fifth Brother and Seventh Sister. It is a training slot that gives the unit Demoralize 1 to try to capture that fear element that we talked about. One of her command cards also gives her Demoralize 1, so she'll go to Demoralize 2 for that one round. And this is something really interesting. So when the unit range 1 exhausts a Force upgrade, the Inquisitor can roll a red defense die on a block or a defensive surge. You cancel the effect, and the upgrade remains exhausted. And so we wanted to capture kind of how the Inquisitors are trained to hunt Jedi. And we wanted to do something a little bit more interesting than just putting the Jedi Hunter keyword on them. And so we were talking about that. How can we convey that? How can we do something that's, they don't just get slightly better dice against a Force user? And we came up with this as a really interesting counterplay option to Force users in Legion, especially with Force Push, that can kind of run amok on the battlefield. And so this kind of throws a wrench into those plans of, if you have your Anakin or Yoda or Luke or even Darth Vader, that they plan to go out there and push people around with Force Push or choke or some other Force power, Force barrier, that this can, shut that down. And what does that mean for that Force user? So we were really excited to put this in the game and kind of, make players think around that play pattern that they have been doing for the entirety of Legion.
Yeah. Any additional comments, Senor Pagugu?
Yeah, we could talk about the development of this a little bit, which this went through a ton of iterations, right? Originally it was an exhaust card that just let you do it automatically without the dice roll. That came out to be a little too powerful. It was all sorts of other things, like you could just exhaust their Force upgrade cards, like you didn't have to wait for them to use it. You could do these kind of things. So this went through a lot of different iterations, and I think we landed in a really cool spot that does really cool stuff.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that is to keep in mind here is a balancing factor, because we definitely went through iterations of the card where we were worried it was too powerful and the playtesters were worried it was too powerful. Is the Inquisitor has to be at range 1 of whatever they're doing this to, and if they're at range 1 of another Force user, chances are that Force user will definitely be able to beat them in melee combat. So
especially in a one-on-one situation, right?
Exactly. So you're definitely going to have to put your Inquisitor very far forward to get use out of this ability.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Moving on, we're now getting into the further out than the further out portion. So we're talking about spring, Q2, Q3, spring, early summer of next year overall with all this stuff. And then, of course, we'll have some stuff that's even further out than that. But let's just dive right into it. Right after this unit's going to get painted. This is probably the most requested unit that I've seen ever.
Yep.
It is the Republic
I don't know
clone.
about that.
Oh.
I don't know about that. But
I'm going ever.
Keep going.
I'm gonna use my hyperbole
All
the
right.
way I want it.
All right.
Because I filter
Don't you
words
yuck
to
his yum.
only see Republic clone commandos
Sure.
in every request ever. So the Republic clone commandos are coming to Legion. Alongside the Bad Batch as well. So all the commandos all the time, basically, at this point. They look phenomenal. Marco, walk us through the sculpts for these guys.
I mean, what more can you say? It's Republic Commandos. Everyone's been wanting them for a long, long time. They're going back to our childhoods of seeing them in video games and, their depictions in series and comics, and oh my gosh, like, everyone's been at, like, as far back as I can remember, we've got Star Wars properties. Everyone was asking about.
Talk a little bit about the weapons. What's unique about this unit? I can see.
What do you
I can
mean?
see
What do you
different.
mean?
I can see different versions of the IWCS.
Well, because they all have different features to them, and like you can have different attachments, right? Of different
on any of the characters. So
any of
you
them.
actually get to choose as you build the squad the weapon for each different pose.
And I think that's what really will get people excited and separate from the more the less customizable like skirmish version of them in Shatterpoint to this Legion version of them that I think people will be very apt to play and put together and assemble.
And no real rule spoilers right now, but that does actually come into play with how the unit functions.
Absolutely.
So when you build your commandos, you can choose to arm them however you would like. You have to remember that Marco is a baby, so it was his childhood. It was his childhood.
Yes.
I know he looks very mature, but
It was mine too. I love that game.
Yeah, see?
I don't know why every time I put a weird emphasis on a word, I can get Ann to like just go, but it's super
Every
easy.
once in a while, I just hear it crack
It's
up.
really easy. So the basic clone Republic Commando unit is coming to Legion. But we'd be remiss if we didn't give a nod to the very OG, the original, the first.
Yeah, I mean, you
squad
said
of
that this
Clone
was the
Commandos.
most anticipated unit Legion. I think
That this is
that
the most
this is the
anticipated?
most anticipated unit Legion. I don't know if the slide is up yet.
When we say
but-
this, yes.
Yeah, I
There
think
it
it's
is.
this one. I think this is what everyone really wanted. But
Well, now they can have both.
they can have both.
They
yeah.
can have both right
Why
out
not
of the
both?
same
Porque
pack.
no los dos.
So, Delta Squad is also releasing as part of the Clone Commandos unit. This will allow you to play those fantastic characters from the Star Wars Clone Republic video game, Clone Republic Commandos video game. So many words. The art is just beautiful.
It's amazing. It's
That
so
Preston
good.
was able to do with the artist, who I'm sure Simone will pop the artist name in the chat since she's hanging out in there. But both the generic Commando art and the Delta Squad art, some of the best Legion art I think that
This art
I've
is so
seen
good.
out of
Yeah,
out of
it's so
Preston
good.
and everything. So it's a very exciting new addition to the clone armies. I know it's one that people have been waiting for forever. They have some very cool and fun abilities, especially with how we played with the weapon customization options that they have and everything. So with that, let's go ahead and and I would be remiss if I didn't say that if you want to see these miniatures as a very early sneak peek, you can watch Dallas' stream right after this, Republic's Finest. Yes. I always get that one mixed up with the Empire's Elite. But Republic's Finest, he's going to be painting the Clone Commandos on stream right after this.
Same.
I mean, the Republic's Finest led to the Empire's Elite.
It's true.
Speaking of the Empire's Elite, you saw me paint these yesterday on the hobby stream, and then I finished the unit afterwards during our hangout stream at the end of the day. But the Empire's also getting the range troopers from the Solo movie as a new option of the unit. Marky, you want to talk about these sculpts? They're big, they're chunky, they're amazing.
And they were a headache to work on.
Oh, wow. All right. Tell us. Just let it out. Let it out. This is the session.
No.
They were a
no.
headache to work on.
I'll get a therapy session some other time. But no, they were mainly because those boots are so complex and they have so many details and intricate pieces. So we really had to simplify a lot of certain elements in order to make it work for casting, but also make sure that you can visually see these range troopers, that they can actually stick on things with their cool boots. And our engineers did a great job in kind of meeting that bridge to making sure that the assembly is good and also is accurate to how they're depicted. And they just have a lot of these little challenging bits that is all on one miniature that usually are separate, like handling fur, casting that in hard plastic and making sure that the assembly is all right. And then also they're customized, they have options like the heavies. And then making sure that those swaps are fine, and then on top of that, those boots. So it was quite something, but I think they look great. The paint job is amazing, and I'm excited to see more of these on the table and in all the groups once people have them in their hands.
Yeah, there were some interesting conversations. I mean, I assembled them, and I talked about this on the stream the other day, but the way in which the engineers were able to cut them to make them kind of minimal parts despite the complexity, and also hide the build joins through the seaming of the coats and stuff was really impressive. From the dev and design side, I think the most interesting thing that we talk about right now, because we're not in spoiler territory, was the conversations and the partnership we got to do with LFL to figure out what their heavy weapons were.
Yes.
Uh,
Because you don't see those in the movie.
You do not see those in the movie. No, you just see them with their E10D or whatever they are blasters. But
Still E11s.
E10R, I think.
I think they're
I don't remember. It's been a
E10s,
while.
but it's
Yeah.
They got a scope.
it's different, and they are a weird looking blaster. But so the heavy weapon choices for these, it was fun because we kind of got to look at what the unit needed to be ideal to our functionality and its place within the Empire Army. But then we also got to talk with LFL about, okay, is this a weapon that they conceivably would use?
Right.
And LFL threw back some extra options, and so we kind of went there. E10R, there you go. Thank you, chat. Thank you, chat. Okay, going along with our further thing. I guess you could argue that maybe this is, we want to show you some stuff that is still in its raw stage. So we're going into the not even painted miniatures now, just to give all the looks at what's coming. Somebody's going to be really excited about this.
Yeah, from a certain point of view, this is the most requested
It is
unit
by
in all of Legion.
by a certain subset of people.
Yeah.
But
know
if
who you
anyone
are.
said it's crabbin' time, it's crab time. So the LM4K Crab Droid is here's the sculpt for it that's being worked on by
It's
Marco's
crabbin'
team.
time?
Crabbin' time, yeah.
All right.
Look at this! Look at this beautiful crab boy, and tell me that's not what he says as he like clitters towards you
I'm not sure he
with his
says
little mandible
anything.
blasters. No, he says it's crabbin' time. He doesn't say Roger Roger. He's like, it's crabbin' time.
Look, I haven't watched the cartoons, so I can't.
I know, so I'm
can't
clearly
confirm or
right.
deny you here.
You're clearly right. So this will be coming as a new option for the Separatist Alliance, obviously droid armies.
Does come with 2 weapon options.
I know you've been having a lot of fun with your team sculpting this guy.
Yeah, Evan
because
King
he's just so
took
cute.
this, yeah, Evan King took this squad and he really busted. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot more that we.
There's more stuff, but the crab droid's what we're
Crab
showing
droid
here.
is what's great.
Please hold yourself in check, Marco.
I'm having a Tom Holland moment.
Just don't ruffalo it. We'll be okay.
Everybody dies.
Oh no!
So really exciting. We did choose the smaller of the 2 versions of the crab droid. There's a 6-legged one, a 4-legged one.
Marco, control yourself.
Oh yeah, your boss just came in here, Marco.
I got yelled at on all sides, virtually and.
So I'm very excited. I can't wait to paint up like 4 of these, and then have my little spider droids, and have all of the creepy crawlies. It's Battle
You
Force
got
that's
your
coming.
crab
I just
droids,
said
your
it.
spider droids, your snail droids.
Crab Force?
Crab
Crab
Force
Force.
1.
All right. I guess that's
Stop
just
looking
yelling
over
something
here,
we have
Ann.
to make.
I don't need your judgment.
It's a Crabbok force.
Crabble Force?
Stay on board.
Stay on target. That's the accurate thing. Another future look at a unit that's being worked on right now, the Rebel Saboteurs.
Yeah.
This is a pretty awesome like group of
Rebel Saboteurs?
Rebel Saboteurs.
Rebel
I was
Sal?
gonna say something, but I'm not gonna say that word because we don't use that word here.
Oh, no.
Oh no!
I
You
really
tell me
like
later.
so I really like this unit, inspired somewhat by the scenes that we see in Andor. The idea being like these are the generic townsfolk who are inspired to join the rebellion, or they're the inside operatives that are working among the townspeople to oppose the Empire's rule. So they're not equipped super well. They're experts at sabotage and demolitions and
A sleeper cell, if
sleeper
you will.
cell,
yeah.
if you will. You got to dance around all of the non okay words for your heroes in your thing. But overall, it's a very fun, characterful unit. I know your team did some fun stuff. There's a loth cat that you can stick on any of the bases,
Yeah, you see
specifically
on
the characters one.
There in the middle there with the leader. It's a little loth cat, and it was this was all done by Alex Ettinger and our sculpting and engineering team. And there's a lot of cool little details and little Easter eggs and stuff. And we really want to, like you said, follow the inspiration of the Andor series and that sort of sabotage.
Yeah, it's I like the non-militaristic look of these guys, especially. Like, it feels very rebellion to me. So I'm excited for this squad and to see what's coming out. Yes, you can talk about the astromech.
I just wanted to point out that there's an astromech.
There is.
That isn't.
There is.
Every
Normal.
good rebel cell needs an astromech.
That's fair. I'm just saying.
They're the true
that
heroes of
exists,
the
and
rebellion.
They are.
Maybe that's going to be very exciting for things. I think that's very exciting.
Exciting for.
Look, we're not in spoiler season.
We're
no
not
matter
in
what
spoiler
Marco
season.
thinks.
We're not in spoiler season, even though Marco would like to go there and talk about all the things. We're not there.
I'm excited.
Okay, so this kind of concludes the nearby look of next year. Kind of the every other roadmap has covered that section.
But wait,
Wait,
there's more.
Legion friends. There's a bit more that we want to talk about because we're very excited about this new endeavor, and we wanted to share kind of the progress and to show where we're going. This year we've done we've talked a lot about looking at our skills, the development that we have, how we can look back to the past and make the future better. And one of the big things with Legion was that it was launched in soft plastic. So a lot of the original Empire and Rebel stuff was done in soft plastic at the time because of the understanding of the manufacturing and the capabilities of the studio when it launched at Fantasy Flight Games. who kickstarted these amazing properties and games, it was kind of norm for the industry. And now that we've moved forward, we have more hard plastic in the line. It's become the de facto. It just has a higher quality. There's more detail fidelity. All of the things that we all know about why hard plastic is the superior material. So we have started the process of going back and redoing all of the soft plastic sculpts into hard plastic. So we're going to be moving everything forward. And we wanted to show you a couple of those things so you know what to expect. We're going to have Marco talk a little bit about some of the advantages that we're going to get out of this move to this new material. Now, we're beginning this process now. So we always talk about how this process takes about 2 years. So we're right at the start. So we're talking, again, this is your
gonna be a while.
This is your bonus. We're into the future. We're talking like late 24, early or mid 25, depending on how all this stuff works out with approvals and camming and all that. So these are very raw sculpts, but we're super excited about it. And we wanted to just let you know that, this is our future roadmap. In addition to making cool new things for Legion, we also want to make the core of Legion the best it can be and to exercise and flex those skills and those abilities that we all have and have developed over the course of our studio's lifespan. Yeah. So with this, let's go ahead and take a look at the first preview, which is the Rebel Troopers unit.
Oh, Commandos.
Commandos, sorry, the Rebel Commandos. I get my Rebels confused. But yes, this is the new Rebel Commando unit.
Yeah.
So already we can see a bunch of non-human heads.
Yes, they're going to come with a lot of different options. You're going to have all sorts of alien different options, so you put on your various characters here and your miniatures.
And we got a lot of Twi'leks, but I know there's more represented than just Twi'leks, right?
Yeah, you got Duros, you got you have the Calamaris, you have and then of course you have your regular human heads as well. And
Disgusting.
And there's a mixture. There's a mixture of. I think this is one of the really cool things, right? Like Legion as a unit-focused game, not being character-focused, like it allows for a lot of potential customization. So we have heads. We also have gendered bodies. So you have male, female, all different kinds of like options and opportunities to customize certain things in the overall hard plastic, and that'll change from unit to unit.
Yeah, just to
as we
say,
go.
like we want like to keep it also like in some like a lot of cases to keep it androgynous, so that you can just make the character that you want to have emulated on the table.
So that is the Rebel Commandos unit in Resculpt. Let's go ahead and look at the Empire's true finest, the Stormtroopers. So
crisp, so clean.
So crisp, clean, hard plastic.
So hard plastic.
So hard plastic. I think with when you look at the Commandos, versus the hard plastic Commandos, sculpting and the detail fidelity and stuff. No. It's
Commandos.
Those softer
Rebel Commandos.
Rebel Commandos.
Sorry.
Yeah. You kind of get away in the soft plastic with the softer detail. When you really start to get into hardline stuff, though, this is where the detail fidelity and the sharpness and crispness of hard plastic is undeniable.
And that's and that's really like where it's at, where it's the crispness and then also the durability. I think that's a good one to note too, where it's not going to easily bend, it's not going to warp,
it's not going to come deformed. It's going to be really solid off the frame, and so, like overall, this is probably the unit that I'm most excited for, because I think the designs are so cool, but the material has its deficiencies on the original sculpts. Being able to go back and do them true justice is going to be very exciting, and I can't wait to see how this unit eventually turns out and everything. So.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin. Are we thanking?
Yeah, we're thanking Kevin. He worked on that one.
Now we're not just going to be doing trooper units. We also have several iconic characters that could use a glow up. So we're going to show you a couple of those here. We have a Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker and a General Leia Organa to show here in their raw forms as they're moving along the process. Just getting more of that heroism and those classic and iconic poses that you want out of your centerpiece character miniatures. Being able to go back, use the crispness of the hard plastic to get the likenesses much better. And improved, so you can really see the faces of those iconic characters and the actors' likenesses and all that stuff. And then, of course, just sharpness everywhere, right? So I really love these. I'm excited to see as the things move going forward and getting everything else going on, where we're at with that.
I like the faces personally. Like hard plastic versus playing soft plastic. Like the faces of characters is just.
It's nice and crisp.
Incomparable.
And then, of course, we're going to close out with the most iconic Star Wars character ever. The man who ties it all together.
Wicket?
Yes.
Yep.
No.
No. Oh,
The right hand of
No.
Oh, the other one.
Lord
the second most.
The sinister force that killed Anakin Skywalker, Darth Vader.
Yeah. And this is Commander.
This is Commander Vader, yes.
And this is the commander version of Vader that is being worked on right now. But there we go.
Beautiful,
So,
beautiful, flowy cape.
just like with the Stormtroopers, another one that benefits so much from the crispness and the the fidelity of the hard plastic. Being able to go back in and really make that iconic look of Vader
Yeah,
sharp and jump.
given that presence, sculpt, and just really looks intimidating.
I'm really excited to see the photos that people take with this Vader because he looks so regal and commanding, just standing there.
Regal.
Well, no, I mean look, but like he looks so authoritative. You can just imagine the ranks of stormtroopers, marching behind him as he stands on some outcrop.
It's
or
propaganda poster Vader.
Yeah,
I agree with
absolutely.
you. I
It's
agree with
incredible.
you.
Yeah.
This
And
is what's on
I'm very
all the
excited to see the
Stormtrooper recruitment
photos.
posters.
the miniature.
He can't do it alone.
Yeah, the miniature photography.
totally do it alone.
He totally can do it
He
alone.
totally can do it alone for sure. Okay, and that brings us to the end of everything we have to show right now. There is lots in the works, of course, and marketing will be revealing more stuff as we get closer to everything. But we hope that this roadmap has excited you, that you're looking forward to what's coming next, and we can't wait to surprise you with even more good stuff in the future. If you're interested in Clone Commandos, Dallas Kemp is on next. He's going to be painting them. Any last words, gentlemen?
Like
Excited.
for the stream?
Yeah, for this stream
Oh.
specifically. No, for life. Like, you're done after this.
I think soft plastic capes are not as good as hard plastic capes.
You heard it
That's
here
my last
first.
words.
There you go. All right, and with that nugget of wisdom, goodbye. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
Oh my goodness. So, folks, that was wild. We have so much to talk about. Clone Commandos. And boy, did they look good. And complete reprints, like new core set. That's exciting. Some people are going to be mixed on that. But the cool thing is you don't have to go out and rebuy a new core set. It's only for those who want it. I am shocked, though, that there was no Bad Batch preview yet. Yes, Big Boss. And I saw people in the chat were talking about Bad Batch. Like, well, what? That was the Adepticon. You don't even announce it yet. But I feel like it was made up for by the fact that we got other stuff. Now, other thing is, we did absolutely get over 300 viewers, which means
let's play some games.
doubling the giveaway. So we're going to do not just one, but two Spanish language alternate force pushes. So if you want a force push, give me a hashtag force push in the chat, and I'll be picking two winners to receive those. If you're chosen, you just email me at mailcrab. All right, mini crab. That's enough. All right, sorry about mini crab. He's going crazy. He was really excited. Give me a hashtag force push in the chat. All right, and now while you're doing that, I'm gonna load up the images. We're gonna. Oh man, this is exciting. This is exciting, folks. Oh, there was so much, dude. I know some people are like, how many times were they saying it's crabbing time and all this crab stuff? And I was just like, oh, they're not talking about me. It makes me. It's so funny to me because they're. All right, I want to talk about this stuff. All right, we're gonna run through everything. I'm gonna start with Geonosian Warriors. So big thing about the Geonosian Warriors. I really thought they were gonna do Gungans after this. I really did, because of the fact that these guys just seem to fit the bill. Like they're CIS. They're a core unit. They're a core. CORE, CORPS. They're a faction specific core unit. Like that's incredible. They like look at this, right? That's awesome. That means you don't have to run the battle force. You can just run Geonosian Warriors. You don't have to treat them like mercs and have to deal with all the pitfalls of that. You can treat them like actual members of the faction. And then oh yeah, there will be a battle force, and you can probably do all that stuff too, but you can run them as CIS. I mean, I'm assuming there will be a battle force. They actually didn't even really talk about that, but I mean, dude, that's awesome. I think that's groovy as heck. Also, I want to thank today's sponsors. Speaking of things that are groovy as heck, I want to thank Luxury Playstyle for sponsoring the channel. Look, amazing tokens, folks. If you guys haven't checked them out already, head over to luxuryplaystyle.com. These are full metal double-sided tokens compatible with Legion. They also have lines of tokens compatible with other games like X-Wing or Magic the Gathering and many more. Use code Crabbok VIP while you're there. You're going to save 15% off your order. It's as simple as that. Orders that use that code and spend $35 or more are going to get a free Crabbok lightsaber nunchuck token. These are amazing tokens, folks. They are full metal, gorgeous, shiny. They got glittery, sparkly bits in them, and they are going to make your games really pop. So head over to luxuryplaystyle.com and check them out. Very cool stuff. So, our Geonosian warriors they've got a free action of jump 3, so they got movement like crazy, which is a little scary because I think they're going to be very, very good. White defense die, so they'll probably die fairly quickly. They do have surge for defense, and death from above is a cool ability that means that they want to have the high ground. If they're attacking down, basically you're not going to recover, even if you are behind a barricade or something like that. So I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool. It really kind of encourages a little bit more terrain-specific play. So I thought that's pretty cool. And then wage down is kind of cool, so they can't use jump if they're holding an objective. So all in all, they don't seem bad. We have the extra trooper. We have the sonic cannon, which is probably the one you'll take most of the time. And you've got a force pike warrior. This is a flipped one. They give an overrun attack on the other side. They didn't spoil that one. They just talked about it a little bit. I guess they weren't supposed to, but they did. And then there's a sonic cannon, which gives you scatter and impact 1. I like scatter on these guys, and it's 3 dice, so it's pretty good. I mean, honestly, they don't have the best dice because they're only range 2, but at range 2 they are nasty. And since they get that free jump 3 move, man, that's like they're going to be able to get in range. I think they're really good. I think they're going to be really good. And so I like the way they've done these guys. I really do. Sunfac and Poggle the Lesser got spoiled a little bit. They're both coming in the same pack, and they look pretty good. Like Sunfac here is, he's got that free jump 3. He's got cover 1. He's also got death from above. He gets direct for Geonosian warriors. He does have search to hit. He's got a suppressive range 3 attack. He's got a decent little force pike, decent melee attack with pierce 1. He's got retinue for Poggle the Lesser, so he's going to get some free stuff there. He's got scale and weight down, whereas Poggle the Lesser only has jump 2 and he's only speed 1. He's not really all as crazy as he used to be. He's an older guy, but he gets compel for a Separatist Alliance trooper, so he can compel any corps who's a Separatist Alliance. It means you can't be a merc. You have to be Separatist Alliance. So B1s, B2s, and then also his own Geonosian troopers. But he also gets Entourage B2 super battle droids, which is really cool. I actually don't even know if they're going to do a battle force now at this point, because Sunfac is an operative, which I love. I love that you're getting new operatives. And then Override 2, which is good, and then Withered Down, or Weighed Down, rather. He does have Surge to hit, but doesn't have Surge for defense, but he's got the red defense dice. So he's going to be a little harder to kill, but he's more of a support character, and we got to look at the command cards a little bit. I'll probably go into these in a little more detail eventually, but I think the big highlights here, like the 1 pip lets him, do fire support. The 2 pip does some coordinate droid shenanigans, but the 3 pip actually has 4 pips, and it lets you return some droids to that were already defeated to a unit, which is really good, especially if you stack that with B2 super battle droids. I think that's super groovy. As we move forward, we got 5th Brother and 7th Sister. These are actually impressive and maybe a little scary also. I don't know if this is going to be power creep or not, but I think that's something that they were definitely worried about. Let me know what you guys think, because it's pretty wild. Is there any new Legion release? I don't think they talked about before Christmas. Pascal's asking in chat. I don't think they gave any release dates. on any of this stuff. But presumably, I think the Geonosians are very, very close, and I think the Inquisitors are very, very close also. Bad Batch I thought was going to be out before Christmas, but since they didn't talk at all about the Bad Batch, I wonder if there's been a delay there. That could be. Absolutely. Why did they not talk about Bad Batch? Apparently they weren't ready to. Or they're saving it for something special. I don't know. I don't know if they're doing anything special with Bad Batch. They may be waiting for an announcement. Bad Batch is like next I don't know, season. But anyway, let's talk about the Fifth Brother and Seventh Sister. So the way that they both fit into an operative slot is that Seventh Sister has the associate keyword. So she's basically saying if you're taking Fifth Brother, she doesn't count against your army requirements. So you can run 3 operatives this way. I don't know if there's another good operative I'd really want to run. Like I see myself possibly running both of them, but I don't know if I'd run another operative. I think the idea here is that you could run operative Darth Vader in their place, but I'll never run operative Darth Vader. It's Commander Vader for life, baby. Although no, because even if I wanted 2 commanders, I could run Palpatine. I mean, granted, if they really wanted to impress me here, they'd say like, oh, and by the way, you don't have to run stormtroopers. You can get rid of your core. Like that. That if they counted as core instead, fulfilling that core. I mean, Iden Versio is a great operative. I like Iden Versio, but like, I just like the idea of seeing how many lightsabers I can get into a list, or how many Force users I can get into a list. And if there was another sort of dark side assassin, then that would do it. That would really do it. By the way, I want to show you guys something right now, real quick. This is how the Clone Commando is kind of going right now. We're about to get there. We're going to be talking about Clone Commandos in a little bit, but Dallas Kemp is streaming that one right now. And since this is live, we can just do whatever we want. But yes. Iden is amazing. I really like Iden, and she's one of my favorite characters in the game. She's just a great character. She's fun. And very versatile, and I might just have a little bit of a crush on her. You know what I mean? She's just awesome. I think Janina Gavankar just did a great job with her, and I loved the audiobook, and I loved, I think she's awesome. But yes, all right. So then, no, look, we got all these command cards for our Seventh Sister, Fifth Brothers. 5 cards. Well, the 1 pip is kind of a duo. Look, the main thing with these two is that they get close, or Seventh Sister at least, she gets closest to you and disrupts a lot of your stuff. She's got this interrogate stuff that lowers your pips if she's close to you. Like, that's nasty. They seem really oppressive when they get up and close, or especially Seventh Sister does, and that's a little scary to me, because I think that might lead to possibly a negative play experience for some folks. But I think the counter to that is that they have sort of said, well, don't worry, because if you put these in close, they're going to get killed. And I'm like, yeah, but are they? Are they, though? They do have 5 health. They have red defense dice, and they have block. I don't know if they're going to get killed that easily. They're also immune to pierce, right? So I don't know if they're going to get killed that easy. It's not, like if I've just got the one command, like if I'm running like, Luke Skywalker commander or Obi-Wan Kenobi commander or something like that, he's not going to cut her down in one attack, in one turn, and she's going to disrupt the heck out of him, So, and if they come in together, if they use teamwork, that could spell a bad day for Obi-Wan, but then again, if you're running both of them, that's over 200 points. And then if you tag on Inquisitorious Training, this is going to be a controversial upgrade card. Demoralize 1 is one thing, but then on top of that, they have a chance. You roll a red defense dice. You have a pretty good, was it like a 4 out of 6 chance to stop somebody from using one of their force upgrades to like force push you away. I think they are. Yeah, Michael says they are very powerful. How is it only 5 points? It's nutty. Well, I feel like one of the reasons it might only be 5 points is because it is less effective if you are not going up against a force user, or at least somebody who has a force upgrade that exhausts. Like certain force upgrades don't exhaust, and they're just like passive benefits and stuff like that. So it's like it's not always going to work. But I feel like you kind of have to point cost something to when it's most exploitive and most damaging versus balancing it against the times when it may just be mid level. I don't know, but either way, they're going to be fun. Like I wanted to get more red lightsabers on the board. This is a great thing to run. And yeah, I think this is definitely going to be an auto include. If the Inquisitors, like they're Jedi hunters, right? But if their biggest weakness, according to the panel, is that they're going to be cut down easily by enemy Jedi, well, then you have to include this because this is going to help stop that from happening. Yeah. So yeah, and then you can't put this on anybody else. This can only go on those Inquisitors. So let's talk about the clone commandos, dude. Now we don't know a whole lot about these, but I mean, this is great. And this is also something that I think that addresses a lot of people's concerns, like how come Shatterpoint's getting them and Legion isn't? Just because Shatterpoint gets something, it doesn't mean that Legion's not going to get it. It might be very close behind. There's probably very good reason to believe that when something is in development and they have to go through Lucasfilm with it, they might try to proverbially kill two birds with one stone and say, hey, here's our plans for Shatterpoint's clone commandos. Can you also approve our plans for Legion's clone commandos? I mean, I would imagine if something's coming to one game, there's a pretty good chance that it could come to the other game as well. That doesn't mean that they always will, but when applicable, and especially in this case, I think it was given. At least they don't have Jedi Hunter. That would be OP, yeah. But they have a lot of things that sort of mimic that idea of hunting Jedi. And then we're getting our Delta Squad from Republic Commando. I've got to play that game again. I only ever play the first 2 levels of it. I have to play through the whole thing. And I think they said that these both come in the same box, which is wait a second. Does that just mean alternate assembly where you can build them as regulars or you can build them as these guys? I'm not sure. And if that's the case, well, I guess I'm going to get more than one box of Clone Commandos anyway, but yeah, that's really good looking. Brandon, you want this as a mouse pad? That'd be funny. Yeah, very cool stuff. Just to go back, I want to go back one more time to the paint stream as they're building out these clone commandos. They look great, man. That's a really nice look, and they're probably not that far out if we're getting paint versions already. So they already have some samples, looks like a production sample they have in place. So very cool. I can't wait. You just want these guys for Shatterpoint. Well, they're already out for Shatterpoint. Oh, well, these guys are. They're already out for Shatterpoint. Yeah, Outrider Dan. I could see. Well, I could see them working like Inferno Squad a little bit. They talked a little bit about how you'd be able to outfit these guys with any weapon you wanted. And I don't know if that's going to be each individual guy gets any individual weapon you want, or if the whole squad, okay, I'm running Clone Commandos with this gun. I'm running Clone Commandos with this gun. I'm running Clone Commandos with this, or is that I'm running Clone Commandos and each guy gets a gun? That sounds like Inferno Squad to me, but my fear is that's going to require intense magnetization if you want it to be WYSIWYG, which I usually don't. But I'm afraid that might end up being a little confusing, right? Maybe one day I want to run 3 short-range guns and 1 long-range gun, or maybe I want everyone to run something different. And which one has this gun? So I think what I'll probably end up doing is building them so that everybody's got a totally different gun, and then in the event I change something up, then I'll mark them with tokens or something like that. Or buy tons of boxes for all permutations. Dan, that is brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? That's funny. All right, let's go ahead and move on. I want to go back to the range troopers, because this is a little bit in contrast to the image that we saw earlier. Because here it was 6 minis earlier. Here it's 7. So 7 miniatures. It really looks like a core unit here. Now I know that they've said these guys are elites, but that doesn't mean that they can't be core. I mean, look, the Rebel veterans, if they're are certainly more elite than your basic Rebel troopers. So just because, you can have an experienced, I think you can have an elite as a core. I think you can. I'm not, the authority here. And I think you decide that by their cost. Who's to say you can't have a core unit that costs a little more? Maybe they're a 60 or 70 or even an 80-point core unit. Maybe you want to have something who's a little bit more elite. Maybe you don't want stormtroopers filling out your army. Maybe you want some elite, everybody else looks like they're getting a new core unit. Everybody except Gar. Except I do think Gungans are coming. I think they're saving Gungans for Adepticon. Because it seems like a missing slot. Look, Empire with these guys, if they're actually core. CIS. But here's the thing. We're getting new core. CIS is getting new core. And the Rebels are getting new core. Oh, well, we'll talk about the Rebels' new core in a minute. Crab droids. Look, I got to tell you guys a secret. Look, everybody went crazy over this crab droid thing. The crab droid was a tease for Gungans. No, I don't know if the crab droid was a tease for Gungans. Because like they were talking about, some people are gonna be very, very, very happy. And when we said crab, I was just like, what? Are you talking about me? And so like every time I hear them say crab or whatever, I was like, are they talking about me? Yeah. Mini crab time, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, baby.
No, go away, mini crab. That's
Let's
enough.
play some
Enough
games.
of you. All right. But no, so here's my issue with the crab droids. I have no idea where they're from. I don't know if I've ever seen, are they from the Clone Wars that I just miss them? I've never seen this thing before in my life. What's the difference between this and the spider droid that we already have? They look the same to me, except for the giant antenna on the top of the spider droid. I don't know what this is from. Was it from a comic book? Was it from a video game? Episode 3. They're not. Were these on? These weren't on Kashyyyk. Were these on Kashyyyk? You guys are saying episode 3. I gotta go back and watch that again. Because the spider droids were definitely coming out of the water on Kashyyyk. On Utapau. Okay. Well, I'll go back and watch. Wait, when Obi-Wan came down to fight Grievous, I never saw any of these guys. Were they in the background? Okay, you guys are saying, no Utapau. They have a singular appearance in Revenge of the Sith on Utapau, plus a bit of Clone Wars. Battle of Utapau. Oh, they were in the... Oh, the clones are fighting. Oh, I'm going back to watch that again after we're done here because I've got to see, it's funny. I guess I just never latched on to them. I must have just never really, they're not as big as you think. Is it just that they're small and people latched onto them because they thought they were cute? I don't know. Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to watch that again. That's really funny. And the clone jumps on him and then shoots it in the head. Okay, wow, you guys, you guys are amazing. Let's do giveaways before we go any further. I have some more things to talk about because we got big news to talk about. I'm going to do our 2 giveaways. And so if I call your name, I want you to email me at mailcrabbok@gmail.com. And you're going to tell me what you won. And then I'll get your shipping information and we'll get you squared away. All right, our first winner is Warham Gaming. Congratulations, Warham Gaming. Go ahead and shoot me an email and tell me what you've won. It's the Spanish language Force Push promo. Our next one is going to be Jai McLeish. J-Y-E, Jai McLeish. Congratulations. You have also won a Force Push Spanish language promo. Shoot me an email. I'll get your mailing address, and I'll get these shipped out to you anywhere in the world. Yes, I do have international postage options available to me, so it's okay if you are not in the United States. But congrats. We're also going to put one of these up in Discord as well. So if you guys are not in our Discord already, I'll be putting one of those up a little bit later after we finish wrapping things up in here. We already have a different giveaway going on in Discord right now, and an extra giveaway going on in Patreon. So yeah, we're going to do that. And all those links are down in the video description below. So if you didn't win, you still have an opportunity. Now, the Discord giveaway, that's going to run for a while. So people who are watching this next week will still have chances to go ahead and win as well. Sorry to tease there. Yeah. All right, let's move forward. Rebels are getting this. All right, this is cool that Rebels are getting a new core option. That's very, very cool. And these guys look awesome with the different alien heads and the trench coats and stuff. but I think there's some confusion. For one of the main pieces of confusion that I have is they're called Rebel Saboteurs. We already have Rebel Saboteurs. It's the heavies for the Rebel Commandos. Why am I making voices? I don't know. So I'm like, okay, you couldn't have chose like a name that was a little more unique, like Insurgents or Freedom Fighters or Rebel Citizens or, or Rebel Rebels. Yeah, so hopefully there's time to possibly change the name. The Not Terrorists. Wow, they were really like beating around the bush with like being afraid to say the word terrorist. I can understand why, but yes, inspired from Andor, which is pretty cool. But my other issue with this is the trench coats they run the risk of being awfully confused with Rebel troopers, who also have trench coats. So that's going to be something. Rebel dissenters? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. All right. Let's move forward. So we're at a different point. Well, no, I don't want to move forward yet. I want to talk about the Rebel Saboteurs, or the new Rebel Corps option a little bit here. Meant to be average citizens rising up to fight the Empire. This is cool. It does mean we're getting another core option. It also leads itself towards, hey, those range troopers are probably another core option. Because also we know that the CIS is getting another core option. That leaves a faction without a core option. It's Gar. And what's a good core option for Gar? Misa don't know what's a good option for Gar. It's gotta be Gungans, man. It's got to be. Come on, Will Schick. If you're not watching this, Will Schick, you don't watch my streams, but maybe you'll come back and watch someday. Somebody. If anybody's sharing this with Will Schick, to use this timestamp, all right, Will, come on, you've got like 3 new core options, right? Misa got some ideas of what's a coming. You obviously haven't dropped any hint. Well, you've dropped some hints in the way of like abstract, like the absence of there's a gaping hole where the Gungans should be. God, I know it sounds terrible. Anyway, come on, man. I hope at Adepticon we get to see, because the Gungans. I know a lot of people are like, oh, Jar Jar's too goofy for this game, whatever. Don't think of Jar Jar, okay? Jar Jar is an exception. Look at the rest of the Gungans. They're a military force. They were formed up. They had a grand army, which is like, it fits in perfectly. Like, I am buying like 6 core units of Gungans when they come out, if they come out, right? I want the dinosaur too, the shield generator dinosaur, dude. Oh, it just sells itself. You can have the Gungans riding the little dinosaur, the little raptor thing too, and then you can have you got 3 named options too. You got Jar Jar Binks, you got Captain Tarpos, and you have Boss Nass, who can sit in the back and be like, and you guys can do that on stream. I bet you Pagani could do a really good Boss Nass impression. I challenge the team to see what they can do. All right, that's the next of what I got here. All right, let's see. Okay. I just think that would be super, super fun, and it would make for these really great photos, because you've got the Separatists have their battle line. The Separatists can do their portion of that. I mean, they don't have the giant transport. That one might be a little too big, but they can really do it. But yes, I would love it. And you could have fun with Jar Jar. Like, don't make Jar Jar too effective, but give him a chance, like a 1 in 6 chance. If you roll a surge on a white die, maybe something really cool can happen. I don't know. But yeah, you've got enough Gungans to really make it work. I would love that. I would love that. And then also the Gungans did also help the Republic in the Battle of Mon Calamari. Like, they just helped them normally, so they could be like a normal core trooper that can help them out a little bit. I don't know. There's definitely a lot of ways to do it. But let's go on to the biggest news of the announcement. Well, arguably the biggest news. A massive new undertaking to reprint all of the soft plastic assets in hard plastic. I am 100% on board with this. this is a big deal. Now, we're looking at right here, Rebel Commandos. This is the plan for Rebel Commandos in hard plastic. First off, these look beautiful. Second off, like these Twi'leks. Look at the 3 Twi'leks in there, which is very fitting for, Rebel Commandos, Freedom Fighters, Saw Gerrera's allies, those type of people, Cham Syndulla's friends. I feel like we might be getting Cham Syndulla someday, and as like maybe a dual faction, and I feel like that could be a hint towards that. I think that's something that could happen. Maybe riding blurgs or something like that too. There's definitely some Twi'lek options available. But dude, shieldy dinos from Peter, yes, yeah. Oh man, very cool stuff. There. Outrider Dan says, I believe it was stated there will be multiple options for different alien and human heads. They may have said that. I may have been so excited I missed it. I know they definitely wanted to make a lot of the body types. They said they wanted to make a lot of the body types a little bit more androgynous, so you can really kind of make the character whoever you want it to be, which I think is pretty cool, because a lot of times you're not really going to see, you don't need to see bulges in different places. You got padded armor on and stuff like that, so it kind of conceals a lot of that type of specifics. So no, I think that looks good, especially aliens too. Aliens, who knows, maybe there's an alien species that has their boobs on their shoulders or something like that, and then you wouldn't even know. I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting all over the place. This is a really good thing for the game. Think of new players coming into the game and like getting confused. Like I did a how to build Star Wars Legion video like early this year or late last year, and I had to go in over all the different types of glues and why some are in soft plastic and some are in hard plastic. That's going to continue. I think we're going to, because there's so much stock that's out there right now. So even the soft plastic assets that exist now are still going to be in circulation for a while. But it'd be nice to eventually get the game to a place where it's all hard plastic, especially in the case of Stormtroopers. These guys look great. I can't wait to see them actually printed out on my tabletop and repainted. Nothing really against the original soft plastic assets. They also looked really good, but these are going to really be great. It's going to be a fun opportunity to repaint some of this stuff. I know I have on occasion stripped old minis and then repainted them, or I bought an extra Stormtrooper unit just to paint them so I could, they could look better. Plus, if you've been playing Legion for a while, I'm betting, especially if you paint, your skills have probably improved since you first started painting and playing. How cool is it going to be to pick up another box of Stormtroopers and be like, let's just see how good I can do with these now, and then compare them. There's going to be a lot of comparison posts then versus now. For sure, I'm going to be doing it, and I bet you guys are going to be doing it too, some of you at least. That'll be a fun thing to do. Also, this is kind of a continuation of a promise. Fantasy Flight wanted to be able to do this. I think when they first came up with the Clone Wars and the hard plastic sprues, it was kind of like a roadmap of theirs that someday they wanted to be able to do this, and this is a really cool thing. Also, for you Legion players that were kind of worried that the game hadn't gotten anything new for a while and was going stale or whatever. I mean, has there ever been a more solid investment in a game's future than resculpting? I mean, like, they're not even using just the same poses. This is all new sculpts. They're redoing the entire game's soft plastic lineup and hard plastic, which is going to mean probably new core sets, new boxes, lots of new packaging and molds. That's a major investment in the game. If you had any doubts as to how AMG is taking this game seriously, this should put those to rest. So I think that's a really good thing for a number of reasons like that. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Luke and Leia getting new sculpts. I know a lot of people weren't crazy about the existing Leia. This one is definitely more... I like this Leia sculpt. It's very much more Endor. Very much more Endor Leia. The Leia that's out there now is a lot more neutral Leia. I painted my Leia in white because I made her Hoth Leia because she looked like she could go either way. But this one is definitely more of an Endor Leia. I'm less thrilled with the Luke sculpt. Not that it's bad, but that he's like, I don't like to use the tactical rocks very often, and his leg is way up there, so you kind of have to use it. He's got a little captain in him. But it's also not just that. It's also, I feel like, if I want to use a Jedi Luke, I'm using that one from the that Return of the Jedi pack that they had at Star Wars Celebration and Gen Con, because I really like that Luke. So I'll probably use that one instead. But no, it's good. It's actually a good Luke. This does look like they went with the Jedi Luke version from the beginning of Return of the Jedi. So because he's got the cloth that's coming down, so it's not the tabard or whatever, that rectangular piece in the front during his duel with Vader. This is like Jabba's palace Luke. So that's kind of cool that they did something a little different with it. But yeah, very heavy on the tactical rocks. Absolutely, they really did. But this is gonna be really good for Leia. There's other characters that I think need some work. I hope they do Han. They said they plan to do all of them. I'm looking forward to seeing the Han Solo, because I really want a more generic Han Solo, or at least a Han Solo who has options. Like, all right, if you're going to give him the trench coat, at least give me one option without the trench coat, because I don't like trench coat Han Solo. I don't. He's not wearing it long enough for me to really care. I don't want trench coat Han Solo on my tabletop. I want regular Han Solo on my tabletop. All right. But yes. And, of course, Darth Vader, who's getting his 17th version. Like, I swear there's more Darth Vaders than Stormtroopers. There's so many Darth Vader versions. Let's see. There's Original Vader. There's Operative Vader. There's Star Wars Celebration exclusive Vader from Chicago 2019. There is the new Emperor Throne Room Vader. There's this Vader. And... You know, like I said, it's a lot of different Vaders, you know. And there will also, theoretically, there will have to be an Operative Vader version of the hard plastic version too. You know. So they like to do lots of Vaders, you know. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, it's a very good thing that they're doing those hard plastic reprints. It's very cool. I'm blown away. I can't wait to see. I actually, you know, even the Rebels and the Empire switched over to hard plastic at one point, but like it was not too much longer. I think it was around the wave after the first Clone Wars where they started switching everything over. But it'd be really cool to go back and split, like take every expansion and be like, this is the ones that are going to get reprinted, and these are the ones that are not going to get reprinted. In which maybe that's something I'll work on for some video content. I'm like all the Rebel expansions that are getting reprinted. The Clone Wars and stuff aren't going to have very many. I think it's just the Phase 1 clones are probably like that core set stuff. In the Clone Wars core set, the only stuff that was soft plastic was the Republic side. So Obi-Wan will get a new version probably, and the Phase 1 clones will get a new version probably. It's kind of what I think. I don't know if they're going to go with a 2-player starter or if they're going to go with like a single faction starters too. You know, Dooku, yeah, he was I think the only Separatist to come in soft plastic, wasn't he? Yeah, Rex and Obi-Wan. Oh, the Barks. Were the Barks in soft plastic? Yeah, they were in a different kind of soft plastic though, because they had a lot of the harder pieces on them, didn't they? Yeah, but most of the reprints are going to be Empire and Rebels for sure. Because it's like what the first 7 waves of the game were all soft plastic or so. It's hard to say exactly. I used to play test. While I'm not going to talk about specifics and stuff like that. I mean, my name is in most of the expansions for a long time. You know, they were clearly delineated as waves. And at some point along the release schedule, they stopped announcing them as waves because they started splitting things up. X-Wing used to always release things as, this is wave 8, this is wave 10, you know, boom, all these 4 expansions drop the same day. But like Legion started to like space things out. Like, no, we're just going to drop this part, this, you know, and then next month, you know, like 1 or 2 releases every month. And so at a certain point, we kind of lost count of what wave was what. So, you know, I don't even know what wave we would be on now. I don't know if AMG, you know, counts it the same way. But I mean, it's a good idea to do things in waves because you want to kind of balance. You want to synergy. Sometimes you introduce a new mechanic, like, hey, death from above. That's a new mechanic. Let's not just have it on one thing, but let's, you know, have things that work with that all together, so we can test different avenues of this attack and stuff like that. But FFG did work a lot in waves. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's very, very interesting. Yeah, no, the barks might be. I'm not sure, but like even in the core set or in when Legion first came out, you had the soft plastics that were like the Rebel Troopers were in, but like the speeder bikes felt like they were slightly different, and like the ATST felt like it was like hard plastic, but it was not on the sprue. They were in the bags, so it was just. But I don't think it was the same hard plastic as they're using now. It was slightly different, but yeah. So, yeah, the release schedule has been kind of crazy lately. Things are getting pretty cool now, though. I'll say this. I have, throughout the years, I've had my ups and downs with AMG. And while I definitely wish that games like X-Wing and Armada were getting more attention, X-Wing, especially with the huge ships, and then Armada with any new product, which I really, really wish they would do. As far as Legion goes, they're doing a great job right now. Everything I saw today I thought was really good. My overall impression is that this was a really good direction for Star Wars Legion. Huge investment in the long-term future of Legion. Never been a better time to to commit. Like if you were on the fence, granted, I don't know if you want to buy too much soft plastic stuff right now. But yeah, you can still use your soft plastic stuff too. This is just optional, but it'd be a good starting point for new players, and especially with new battle forces coming out. Like I'm like, oh, were you thinking of getting like when they did this with Wookiees? I already had 3 Wookiees. I'm like, oh, I don't want to have to get a 4th Wookiee, but it's a reprint. I want to unbox it. Well, now all of a sudden there's some value to that because hey, look, battle forces have come out, and now there's some advantage to me having another hard plastic one because now I can run even more of something. And so, like, I just it's so well thought out. But also the previews that we got, the cards looked really good. The new abilities and stuff, like I like what the second sister or seventh sister can do. Like she seems cool. She seems dangerous, and I'm like, and the same thing with the Geonosians. They seem cool. Like I'm like, and it doesn't seem too gimmicky. It seems like there was some thought put into it, but like I like the mechanics that they're using. I just feel like they put some real like this. I feel like it was made by somebody who understands the game, and is. But at the same time, running the risk of shifting the meta a little bit. But that's what waves do, So I'm really optimistic about this. This is a really good day to be a Legion player. Really good day, folks. It's really cool, really good. Let's see. Oh, all right. I'm going to take a few questions before we wrap things up, because I'm going to let you go. The Geonosian card has 4 minis. Let's run through. Is there one missing? Is the question. Well, right here on the box we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I don't think we're missing anything. There's 7 shown on the box. 7 shown on the box. And there's 3 upgrade cards. Now this one is a personnel upgrade, right? And then there's 4 basic guys. So I think they're perfect. I don't think there's anything missing. So yeah, I think we're looking good there. My only problem is the Geonosians look better than I expected. I wasn't planning on like really paying much attention to the Geonosians, but I'm like, all right, they're gonna be solid enough. Like, I really don't like separatists, but like they look good. Yeah. So mechanically, I'd love to run them, but I don't want to buy like 3 boxes of Geonosians. But they look pretty cool. I'll do the unboxing. I'll do one of them at least. Let's see. Today demonstrated a strong commitment to Legion. Absolutely. This is fantastic. They kept talking about some really cool stuff in the future too, and I wonder if there's more like even super exciting things. Whoa, we got a super chat from Peter. Oh man, dude, thanks for the super chat. You got a mini crab.
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Super
Yeah,
chats are
you
the
got a
best.
special
Super
mini crab
chats.
for that one. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support.
Oh my goodness. Super chats are the best.
All right, that's
Super
enough.
chats.
That's enough.
Wow.
Thank you. All right. Appreciate it. How much do you think the other Geonosian expansions will go for as far as price points? I mean, probably comparable. This will probably cost the same as the Ewoks, And then this one will probably cost the same as the Logray and Wicket box. That's my guess. They seem pretty comparable to each other. Do you think Jango Fett reveal for Adepticon? Yeah, I think so. I think Django's coming, man. I'm surprised they didn't show him just yet. He seems like a natural inclusion at this point. Could be a licensing thing, could be a balance thing. Maybe he's a little too strong in his current state. You never know. They may have planned. It is possible to like have a wave and to plan for things to come out, and then something to. Oh gosh, I'm not supposed to. Certain things from playtesting, you're not supposed to reveal stuff even if it's long after the fact. I will say that there were things. I'm going to say very, very generalized that were supposed to come out much sooner in Legion that didn't come out until much, much, much later, like 2 years later. So there's that's possible. So that could be the case with Jango Fett. It's definitely possible. Let's see. You're surprised we didn't see Ezra and Kanan? Yeah, they did mention Ezra. Like, well, here's what you did see a little bit of Ezra. You saw Ezra's lightsaber and this card right here, because Seventh Sister is holding Ezra's saber. So, like, we're getting so close. I feel like it's got to happen. I just don't think we're gonna get a full Ghost Crew pack. I feel like they're gonna sprinkle them in. But I want a full Ghost Crew pack. I really do. Like that is exciting to me. Durg. Everybody wants Durg. Or is it Dirge? Is it like a soft G? Was it like a J sound, or is it the hard G? Durg. And he's canon now too. He's in like the comics and stuff too. So he's been recanonized. I know a lot of people are gonna be happy when he shows up. I don't have an investment in that particular character, but he's cool. And that's for sure. Soft G, so Dirge. Okay. Very cool. Yeah, no, I liked a lot of this stuff. I think the Inquisitors are going to be dangerously powerful. Empire is getting a lot of love, but Republic got some much-needed love. The Clone Commandos potentially could be really, really cool. So I'm excited. I think Ezra is on the docket for Adepticon if they're going to do that too. Because, look, Ahsoka as a show is out on Disney Plus right now. It's popular. It's been called by many like another season of Star Wars Rebels. It has that feel to it. I think the cast and crew of Star Wars Rebels, the Ghost Crew, will be at an all-time high here shortly. And so when Adepticon comes around, it will be like they'll be in current knowledge. They'll be very recognizable at the time, so it'd be a good opportunity to release them sooner rather than later. So that's my guess. Yeah, Empire's getting some love. Crab droids. All right, that's cool. People, I'm so happy for the people that are really excited about the crab droids. I gotta go watch episode 3 after this again. Yeah, they don't have pretty insulting to the actual show Rebels. Well, I don't know. I don't know the behind the scenes stuff if FFG was trying to get more Rebels characters out, because they got Sabine out and then they got Agent Callus out, but they never got anybody else out. And I don't know if they were trying to and maybe couldn't get the balance right, or if it was licensing issues or whatever. But I don't know if I know that like a lot of times when you interview developers and stuff, they're like, there's a big difference between that's cool and I'd love to do it versus I can do it. You know what I mean by that? I'm not. Granted, I've wanted the Ghost Crew since before the game even came out, so I'm definitely a big proponent to getting the whole Ghost Crew out and finding good and meaningful ways to be able to use them all together in a build. But I also realize that it may not have been possible for a number of reasons: licensing, balance, art reasons, timing. Like, hey, we need you to wait until Ahsoka's done because we're going to find out that Ezra has actually been a robot all along, and so we need him actually to come out with the droid keyword or something like that, right? Like, we have no idea, right? not that obviously, but like that's kind of where I'm going. There could be weird reasons that we just don't know about. So it could be, or it might just be, like, no, we're not doing it right now. I don't know. Usually there's a good reason, though. I think people want to do things that are fun. If the folks behind everything, could just do whatever they wanted, then we'd probably have a lot more fan favorite kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm also a little surprised. I'm going to go back a little bit to the Inquisitors. I'm a little surprised that we don't have Seventh Sister's little droid on her. I guess that he kind of helps her in the investigation. Like, he's probably in there in the abstract, But maybe he was part of the testing program, and having an extra mini made her too strong somehow, kind of like Iden Versio's. I don't know. Oh, Choco Lad, you missed a lot, but fortunately, you can always rewind and you can watch all of it again. You absolutely can. But we are close to wrapping up, folks. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me today. I want to do one more shout out to our awesome sponsor, Luxury Playstyle. If you haven't already, head over to luxuryplaystyle.com. Check out their tokens. They have a whole bunch of different tokens for Legion. They have different order tokens. They have the red order tokens, the blue order tokens. These are really, really gorgeous. These actually do ship too with like token protectors. So you'll have like you can have like a coin case that goes around them if you want to do that, which are really nice. Also, all of your other tokens too are double-sided. One of the things that's really cool, especially since we just got a Wookiee Battle Force announced, right? The damage and suppression tokens are both double-sided with the little 2s on the back. So that damage, when you get a damage on a Wookiee, they have 3 health, right? You're not going to get overloaded with having to put so many tokens out per mini. You get a second damage on a Wookiee, you flip that over. You get that third damage, the Wookiee comes off. So it's going to really reduce your token imprint, but make the tokens that are on the board that much more beautiful. So they're really cool. If you use code Crabbok VIP, you're going to save 15%. Orders that spend $35 or more and use that code are going to get the free Crabbok lightsaber nunchuck token. So definitely head over to Luxury Playstyle and use that code. Let them know I sent you, and that'll do it. All right, you guys. Have we got any more questions? I'm going to take one more pass. Thank you guys for the great comments. We had a great turnout today. It was really cool. Need at least 5 more battle forces for the Empire. Yeah. No, definitely the Republic needs more. I feel like the Gungans are a great opportunity to do a battle force. You could also do like a Coruscant Guard, like a non-clone battle force, which would be interesting to see how that would work. I don't think you're there yet. I think we need more Jedi, because I would love to see a Jedi-specific battle force that has a very different focus and goes away from having core and clones, and it goes, towards having a smaller elite group. Although that some might say that would feel a little bit like Shatterpoint, and I wouldn't have any problem with that, because Shatterpoint and Legion play totally differently, and Shatterpoint is about area control and just moving and being close enough to this objective. You kind of can't kill anybody in Shatterpoint. It's theoretically possible, but it kind of doesn't happen. And in Legion, it's all it's not all about killing, but it's a lot more about killing, right? So, yeah, Mon Calamari core unit, yeah, that sounds good. 212, that makes a lot of sense actually. You could do a 212. I just don't know if they did a 212, is that going to feel different than just a regular Cody build? How different is it really going to feel? I mean, I guess it depends on the cards you add. Cody is really good. He's very versatile, and he's good. I don't think he's like saves the Republic or anything all by himself, but he's a good unit. But it's hard to say, like, what would a 212th Battle Force add to the game? Would it just be, we just have another Battle Force, or would you make new command cards for it? And then you run the risk of, okay, so I'm going to get the same list I was building with regular Republic, but now I get extra command cards. You run the risk of it maybe being a little too strong, so that it becomes a little tough. I feel like you could maybe allow, 4 supports or something like that with it, but Yeah. Oh, ARF troopers? Maybe. I guess we'll have to see. Do you think they'll revisit the cover rules? No. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think they'll revisit the cover rules. I think they released an entire Legion rulebook not as an accident. I think they released an entirely new Legion core rulebook for a reason. And I wasn't thrilled about it at the time, but you look at all the stuff they're releasing now, and it seems like it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. All right. Here's what's going on, guys. So tomorrow, I'm actually going to be doing another live stream, and we're going to be talking about terrain. We're going to be there's a Kickstarter that has some really cool terrain coming up, and we're going to be talking with them about some of the cool new things that they are going to be bringing with this terrain. This is a very cool terrain set, a very cool terrain Kickstarter, and you guys might not want to miss it. It's going to be very cool. It'll be probably around noon Eastern, so stay tuned. I will share it on my socials as well. If you guys aren't on my Discord already, you should hop in there and check out the giveaways channel, and also lend your voices. You know, we're family friendly, and we try to be positive, but you're allowed to be, you know, you can voice your disagreements with things as well too. We don't moderate super heavily, but we definitely don't want you saying anything. We have a lot of that's typical stuff, and we want you to, you know, we want you to be able to say what you want to say, but at the same time, let's not be jerks. Try to be excellent to each other. You know what I'm saying? All right, guys, that's going to do it. I want to talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in supporting the channel with Patreon, big thanks to my patrons. There's links down in the description below. You can check that out as well. And I will talk to you later. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. And